LeBron James is returning to the Lakers on a new deal after agreeing to a 2-year, $104 million contract. Bron could have signed for up to 3 years and roughly $162 million, but he took what is effectively a 1-year deal, as his player option for the 2025-26 season means he can re-enter the free agent market next summer if he so chooses. You can't blame Bron for taking the max, as his agent Rich Paul told ESPN his client would be willing to take a significant pay cut for James Harden and Klay Thompson and a discount for an impact player like Jonas Valanciunas. But as we know, the Lakers were not able to bring in any of those three players. Then they pivoted to DeMar DeRozan, who at this point in time of his career, he's 34 years old. He definitely isn't the best defender. He's not the best three-point shooter, but he can score the basketball, he can rebound, and he would give the Lakers another ball handler, another option next to LeBron so he can play more off ball, which is what JJ Redick has stressed for the team moving forward. Of course, LeBron's going to be 40 in December, so they want to take some of the burden off him so he can have a longer career. But DeRozan, he said that he's not willing to sign for the non-taxpayer mid-level exception. The Lakers are not going to be bringing him back home, which is something that DeRozan has dreamed of playing, of course. But it doesn't matter. The Lakers haven't signed anyone. It doesn't look like they're going to sign anyone. And that's exactly why LeBron ended up taking the max contract. I know you guys are thinking, well, why didn't LeBron just wait? It's because he wanted this done before Team USA, so essentially Sunday. And LeBron said Wednesday morning, it's like 5 a.m. when this broke, he was like, all right, I'm just going to take the max. So what that says to me is that the Lakers are not trying to win a championship. They've got 3 tradable first-round picks right now, and they haven't been using them. Not to say that they haven't been actively trying to improve the roster, but they haven't been getting anything done. The rest of the West gets better. The Lakers roster hasn't improved. They just lost Taurean Prince to the Bucks. They brought in Dalton Connect, who I think is going to be a big-time weapon for the Lakers, but he's a rookie, right? He's a guy that has 0 NBA experience. Even though he is 23 and he has, 5 college experience, it doesn't really matter because the Lakers are trying to win a championship. Anything outside of that is going to be a disappointment. It seems like the Lakers right now are not on the same page as LeBron James. Seems like Pelinka's trying to build around the future. You bring in JJ Redick, you draft Ronnie James, that's fine. Those were LeBron moves. But you look at the rest of the roster, and the Lakers seem like they're just trying to focus on development. Max Christie has been the only move for the Lakers, and that was a guy who wasn't even a part of the rotation last year. A guy who, again, is a younger player that they're trying to develop in this organization. So to this point, I don't have any faith in the Lakers making a move. If they do make a move, then it should absolutely be towards Jeremy Grant or a Gary Trent, Tyus Jones. But those moves don't put the Lakers on the same type of level as the Thunder or the Timberwolves or the Mavericks or the Nuggets. Just at this point, the Lakers, they needed a DeMar DeRozan and probably a Jeremy Grant to even have a chance to win a championship. Now that they don't have really anyone, and it's the same roster as last year, which we know to this point is not good enough. I mean, there's got to be a lot of concerns, and there is a lot of concerns for Lakers fans because this is just not a team that screams we want to win a championship. It's a team that screams we want to build for the future. I mean, LeBron James and Anthony Davis are about as good as it gets as a 1-2 punch in the league, but we learned that in the playoffs, if you don't have defense, three-point shooting, bench scoring, you're not going to be able to win. And that's why the Lakers lost in 5 games to the Nuggets, who in their defense were a bad matchup for them, but that's on Darvin Ham as well, because Ham, he let the Lakers go too deep into the season without having a starting lineup, without having a consistent rotation, and by the time he found what worked, it was too late. Also, the Lakers had a huge losing streak at one point in the season. Remember, they lost at the Heat without Jimmy Butler. They just were playing poor, and to that point, that set them up in the play-in. So to me, the Lakers are a team that's probably around the 10th seed. I think at best they're the 6th seed. I think at worst they're the 12th seed. They're going to be anywhere between those lines. But realistically, I don't think the Lakers are a team that is going to be the 6th seed, because the 6th seed means no play-in. I think the Lakers are going to be in the play-in, and then they're going to have to battle out, and at that point you're playing against the 1 or the 2 seed. So it's just a lose-lose situation for everyone. I mean, LeBron gets his money, he gets to play with his son, so LeBron's a winner regardless. I mean, he'd like to win a championship, which is why he was willing to take a pay cut, but even if he doesn't, LeBron's won championships, and he's proven that he's really maybe even the craziest athlete of all time. To be 39 years old and to make All-NBA third team, to average 25.7 points, 7.3 rebounds, and 8.3 assists, 33.4 minutes per night. He played in 71 games, 54% from the field, 41 from 3. Just an unbelievable season, and if that wasn't crazy enough, in the playoffs, LeBron upped his scoring to 27.8 points, 6.8 rebounds, and 8.8 assists. He shot 56.6% from the field, including 63% on two-pointers, the second highest mark of his career in the playoffs. I get it was just one series, so there's not a huge sample size, but if LeBron had, let's say, Jeremy Grant and DeMar DeRozan with Anthony Davis and the rest of this Lakers team, I mean, I think the Lakers would be the best team in the West, but the issue is that the Lakers don't have that luxury because of the Russell Westbrook trade, even because they gave player options to guys like Cam Reddish and D'Lo and who's another guy, Christian Wood, right? Guys that aren't deserving of that, and they all opted in, obviously, because they're not to say they're bad players, but they're not getting any sort of value on the market. The Warriors didn't even want D'Lo. They'd rather basically get nothing, get a second round pick versus get D'Lo. And it makes sense because even though D'Lo's making like 18.7 million, he's still a guy who played bad in the playoffs and doesn't really fit a lot of rosters. So especially the Lakers, I mean, I'd rather have Tyus Jones any day over D'Lo. So you gotta blame Rob Pelinka here. He hasn't been able to make moves. He hasn't been able to get creative. And he always brings up the CBA and how it limits teams from making trades. But other teams are making trades. They're signing free agents. They're getting creative. And Pelinka's just kind of sitting there and not making any moves. And the Lakers, they don't have any sort of wiggle room. LeBron's making $50 million a year right now. AD's making over $43 million, a little bit over $43 million. D'Lo is at nearly $19 million. Rui's at $17 million. Reeves is at $13 million. Vincent's at $11 million. Vanderbilt's at $11 million. So you take a look at those two guys. They weren't available last season. They were hurt for almost all the season or all of the season. And then you've got Christie, who's now at $7 million. Shafino's at $4 million. Connects at 3.8 million, Woods at 3 million, and Reddish is at 2.5 million. But more importantly, the Lakers right now are pressed at the second apron. So if the Lakers do not get under that second apron, they'll forfeit their 2032 first round pick. Or a better way to phrase it would be it's frozen, which means that they can't trade it. And that's in February. So I do expect the Lakers to get under that. Rich Paul has talked about LeBron getting 1 million less under the max, so that way the Lakers are under that apron. But if they continue to be in there, they're at a point where they're not going to be able to do anything because teams above the first or the second apron can't acquire players via sign and trade. They can't take back more salary in a trade than they send out, and they don't have access to the non-tax player mid-level exception. So if the Lakers were to trade for Jeremy Grant, let's say they give up Gabe Vincent, Jared Vanderbilt, and then Christian Wood, for example, they would need to stay far enough below the second apron after the trade to be able to add another minimum contract or two afterward. You got to remember, the Lakers have a full roster right now, so they can't add anyone, and it's made it extremely difficult because let's say they end up trading Cam Reddish or Christian Wood and they attach a second-round pick. They can't pair both of those guys in a trade together with a second. They have to trade two separate times, which means two second-round picks, and that's just not a good spot to be in. So making trades right now for the Lakers is difficult, but as a general manager, you have to be able to get that done and get creative, and it's something that Pelinka has not been able to do. And because of it, the Lakers are now paying LeBron James a max contract, which is rightfully deserving. But the issue is that the roster behind him is nowhere close to being able to win a championship, let alone even get out of the first round. I don't know exactly what the Lakers' plan is moving forward, but I don't even think they have a plan. I truly don't. And it's disappointing to the fans because last season, the Lakers, if they had made some deadline moves, they honestly could have been a serious threat in the West, but they didn't. And because of that, they lost in the first round, and a team like the Dallas Mavericks went to the NBA Finals.